Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to share with you a little bit about after schooling. What is after schooling and how do we do it and how can you get started? Well, after schooling is basically homeschooling your child after school. Assuming your child is enrolled in school full-time or part-time. As you may know from other videos, both me and my husband work full-time. So our children are enrolled in school full-time. So let's talk about my son who's currently in the 4th grade, who's 9 years old. How do we after school him? Well, what we do in the beginning of the year is we meet with each teacher by subject, and we find out from those teachers what is the schedule, what is the child expected to learn throughout the year for this particular subject, and when will they be teaching the various topics throughout the year, and what are those topics that they're teaching? How are they breaking out the course by semester or quarter? In our school district, they break it up by, is it quarters? I think they break it up by weeks. So every 9 weeks is considered a quarter. So the first thing we do before we enter that meeting with the parent, I'm sorry, we're the parent. Before we enter that meeting with the teacher at the beginning of the school year, we go online to the district's website and we find out for our school district, what are the child's expectations or learning objectives? They normally have KSAs out there, which are knowledge, skills, and abilities, which tell you what the child will learn in school, what will be taught in school for every single subject by grade. So let's talk about math, for example. For math, let's say for a 4th grader, they're going to learn a little bit of geometry, fractions, adding and subtracting fractions with the same denominator. Let's say they're going to talk about word problems. They'll start off with algebraic expressions. They'll do multiplication and division. They'll touch on decimals. Whatever it says they're going to learn, they actually detail it. They detail it out and they tell you what are they going to learn for every single one of those subtopics. So once we print that out, we have that available. I go and meet with the teacher and I say, okay, I understand that child is going to learn all these subtopics. But how do they break down those subtopics within the classroom? So then they'll give me a schedule that I'll write down, or some teachers may provide it to me because they have it ready. And it says for the first 9 weeks, we're going to reinforce addition, subtraction. We're going to dive in deep with multiplication and division. Second 9 weeks, we're going to go into fractions. Third 9 weeks, we're going to go into geometry and we're going to touch on decimals. The fourth 9 weeks, we're going to focus on financial literacy and do a big review of everything that was learned in the prior 9 weeks in preparation for the state exam, right? So once I have the schedule from the teacher, I ask them, okay, what else can I do to support you as a teacher? So since we're after schooling and homeschooling with our child, is there anything that I can help them with at home? Is there anything that you would like me to do or not do in this homeschooling journey with my son? And I've had teachers say, don't go too much off course, meaning if they're on addition and subtraction, don't jump into geometry. Because when the child's at school and they are doing addition and subtraction, they might have missed some skills because we're challenging them too much. Or they may get a bit confused if we are doing multiplication and division with 3x3 numbers, but they don't even have addition and subtraction down for 4x4 numbers or 2x2 numbers. So don't go too far unless your child already knows it, they master it, they're comfortable with it, then that's okay. But if not, try to follow the same flow as the teacher. So I've had a teacher tell me that before. I've had a teacher that has told me in the beginning of the school year that they like to ensure that the parents are doing anything at home, that they kind of use the same method. So if they're teaching addition a certain way, kind of teach that way at home as well. You can teach them mental math or other strategies for doing the same type of problem, but incorporate what they're learning in school, the method and the process that they're learning a particular math problem in school. Incorporate that, include that in how you decide to teach them at home. And the reason why that's important is because in some school districts, we are not Common Core. But I think that was helpful because some school districts or some states that are Common Core, if they're teaching you a certain way of doing division, for example, like if they're teaching you the Big 7 method of doing division, when your students get homework and they're expected to do the homework and have it ready in return for school the next day, and they're teaching them the Big 7 method for division, if the child does not do it the way the teacher has taught them to do it, they're going to get the problem wrong. Some teachers will mark them wrong, although the answer is correct. So you need to know the method that they're using or process they're using to teach your child, and you need to also incorporate that in school so they're not confused. So when they're at school and they're expected to learn it a certain way, and when they're home they're expected to learn it a different way, it can be confusing. After-schooling, homeschooling is not supposed to be hard. It's not supposed to create more confusion. It's supposed to give your child options, different ways of doing something. It's supposed to make things easier for them. But you want to ensure they understand the way they're being taught at school. So incorporate that in your homeschool journey. So those are the conversations you want to have with the teacher. Meet with the teacher at the beginning of the school year, set the foundation, understand what's being taught, understand what the expectations are, and understand how you can support them as a teacher and support your child. Build that relationship early with the teacher. So you have your KSA, skills, knowledge and abilities from the district website. So you have that information. You have the information from the teacher. Now what do you do with all that information? Go home, dissect it, and create a calendar or a schedule for yourself and your child. If your child is learning certain subjects every 9 weeks, in your calendar, write down for the first 9 weeks what's being taught. Second, third, fourth 9 weeks, what's being taught by subject. So you're having these conversations. You're writing this down. Not only for math, excuse me, my lips are like super glossy. Sorry. Not only for math, but for language arts, for history, for writing. I like to hit all the core subjects. So reading, writing, arithmetic, absolutely, I'm hitting those teachers. For social studies and science, prior to 4th grade, I'm not really concerned with that. What he learns at school is what he learns at school. I'm not incorporating that in my after schooling. We may do it in summer homeschool, but I'm not incorporating that in my after schooling, my weekend schooling, or the homeschool time we spend together during extended vacations. Not doing that. But in the 5th grade, I will incorporate science because in the 5th grade, they have a state exam on science. And that's another thing, guys. Find out for your state, for the grade level that your child is in, what are they learning? I'm sorry, not what are they learning? What are they being tested on? That's another way you can do it. So you can focus on the core, reading, writing, arithmetic, and also focus on what they're being tested on. So if they're being tested in science this year, incorporate that in your after schooling and homeschool journey throughout the year. If they are going to have a state test on U.S. history or world history or literature, incorporate that in your after schooling. So core subjects, reading, math, arithmetic, okay? Absolutely incorporate that year round in your after schooling, homeschooling journey, and also incorporate the subjects that they are being tested on for that particular school year in which your child is enrolled in. Or I think I said that wrong. incorporate the subjects that your child is being tested on for their grade level during the school year. Okay, so you have that information. So let's get back to the calendar and how do we schedule this? Go to your calendar, write down the subjects that you are interested in focusing on throughout the year, and then also write the topics and subtopics that are being taught for each of those subjects during the school year based on your conversation with the teacher. So now that you have that information, you want to figure out, okay, what is the schedule? What does it look like when my child comes home from school? Talk to your child. Hey, when you come home from school, what are some of the things you want to do? Okay, talk to them and you'll find out, when I come home from school, I don't want to dive into work. Okay, that's fine. So what are we going to do? Well, let's have a snack. Let's make sure your agenda and paperwork that I need to review and sign are on the kitchen island or in a specific area of the home, so that I can get to it. Maybe you can de-stress, chill out for a bit, and then, take a shower if you want to, or whatever they want to do. And then you're going to dive into your regular schoolwork, and then you're going to dive into this particular subject on this day for 30 minutes. So let's say Monday. Well, for my homeschool, we hit hard on math. So that's because I have him on a high school calculus path. Yes, for my son who's in the 4th grade right now, I have envisioned where I want him to be in high school. But that's just me. I'm very detail oriented. I consider him to be a mathy kid. So math is his strong suit. So I make sure that by 7th grade, he's in pre-algebra, 9th grade, algebra 2, high school, he graduates with statistics, pre-cal, or cal, based on the fact that he likes math. Will that change? Can that change? Probably so. Yes. But right now, I build his writing and his math curriculum based on where I want him to be in high school, based on my conversations with him, based on what he tells me he wants to do, the things that he likes, those things that interest him. So he likes engineering, he likes math, he's not too much into the science, so we're going down that route. Okay, back to the subject. So after school, you hit your schoolwork, and then you'll jump into homeschool work. So Monday, let's say homeschool work. Monday we'll do math. Tuesday, Thursdays, if the child has extracurricular activities, there will be no after schooling or homeschool work during those days, because he's going to be busy. He's going to come home, de-stress. He has regular schoolwork, and then he has his extracurricular activities. When he comes home, it's going to be like 5:30. So hang out, de-stress. And let's say on Wednesdays, we're going to focus on math and we're going to do science. On Fridays, we're going to do reading and we're going to do some writing, as an example. So that's the schedule that you will create with your child. Figure out for every single day when they come home after school, what is expected of them? What should they do to be productive? And within that schedule, include de-stressing. Let the child just relax. They just came home from after school. They don't want to jump into something else. Let them relax. It's okay. Give them grace. Don't be too legalistic in this, because if you're too legalistic and you have them in school, come home, do homework, do 3 hours of homeschool or 2 hours of homeschool, and then they have extracurriculars, and then no, your child needs to be a child. Let them relax. Okay, we don't want them to be stressful people, or we don't want a child that is overwhelmed because they have so many things to do. You will see those things in them as they grow up if you do that. Okay, you will see that your child has anxiety, they are nervous, they are overwhelmed, they get frustrated, they get angry when they can't get something right. We don't want these things or these characteristics to develop in our child, okay? So give them grace, give yourself grace. So that's what we do after school. So all you're going to do is further enhance what they're learning in school. If they're on fractions, they should be doing fractions, and you may challenge them with harder in fractions. If they're on addition and subtraction of like denominators for fractions, first you want to make sure they understand how to do that. They're mastering that. And then if you figure out, oh, they got this, then you can dive into doing those things with fractions that have different denominators. If they're on multiplication and division at school and you notice that they have mastered that and they're doing 2 by 2 digits for multiplication, maybe you can dive into 3 by 3 digits or 3 by 2 digits for multiplication. So after schooling, I would say, is reserved for enhancing what they're learning in school, giving them extra work for what they're doing in school, and then you're going to challenge them beyond what they're learning. If you realize, oh my gosh, we're on multiplication at school and my child has not mastered their math facts, halt, stop what you're doing, put a pin in that calendar, put a pin in that schedule, and get back to the math facts. You need to know your multiplication, division, subtraction, addition math facts in order to be successful in this math thing, in this math journey. So you may need to stop for a week or 2 or a month and use after schooling to drill in those math facts, flashcards, interactive games, activities. Make it fun. Make learning fun. That's the beauty of after schooling and homeschooling, is giving you the opportunity to make learning fun for your children. It's to give them an experience in this learning thing. It's to get to know them. It's to help them realize what their learning style is. And once you figure out what their learning style is, then it's your responsibility to help them engage in this learning journey through their learning style. Okay? So, and same thing if you figure out, oh my gosh, my child is learning about prepositions in school and they don't even know what a noun, a verb, an adverb, articles, or linking. If they don't know any of the precursor grammar skills, or they're not strong, they haven't mastered it, stop again for language arts. And as you are teaching them about prepositions, because they're going to learn that in school, they may be on that chapter now, you're going to rewind, go back, and make sure they have mastered the other grammar skills, because they're going to need that in order to understand prepositions, okay? To understand direct objects and indirect objects, they need to learn the basics. If your child doesn't know how to classify or diagram a sentence, you need to stop, because how are they going to know how to identify everything if they don't know how to classify it properly or properly diagram a sentence, which helps them figure out everything else. So this is going to give you a chance to really learn, was my child just being passed, or was my child learning enough just to pass a test? My child didn't master these skills. My child doesn't know these things like this. They haven't mastered it. So maybe your job after school is to help them master it and not challenge them yet because they're not ready. It's to master those things that they should have learned or mastered in the prior grade. So maybe that's what you need to do in after schooling. So there you have it. Talk to the teachers, and not only in the beginning of the school year, circle around and talk to them again in the middle of the school year. Take advantage of the teacher-parent meeting and ask them, where is my child? Where do you notice my child is having a challenge? Where is there an area of opportunity? So meet with the teachers, circle back around with them once or twice in the middle of the school year just to make sure you both are on the same page. Find out what the state says your child is supposed to learn for every subject, for their grade level. Create a calendar of what your child is supposed to, or not a calendar, a schedule for what your child is supposed to do from the point of after school to bedtime. Have them participate, involve them in that calendar, and also your schedule. Have on your schedule, your agenda, what your child is learning and the resources that you're going to use during that time period. Great resources: CTC Math, ABC Learning, depending on your child's age, Time for Learning, Schiller Math, Khan Academy, YouTube videos. Math Mammoth is great. For topical information in math, Math Mammoth Blue Series is awesome. Blue Series basically breaks down all the math topics into subtopics, and they have lots of worksheets and workbooks to help your child for that particular area. If your child needs help with line segments, get that one. If your child needs help with fractions, get that one. Geometry, get that one. Percent, decimals, they break it out into subtopics, and you can purchase it online. You can get the book, but I purchased mine in PDF so I can print it whenever I need. I have all Math Mammoth's blue books. I think they have green, the regular curriculum series, but and they're by grade level. So I have all of them. I purchased them online for like 50% off in PDF. So hey, why not? I have it from 1st grade through like 7th grade, I think, or 6th grade. I'm not sure how far she goes. I think it's 7th grade. But yeah. So schedule those things into your calendar and be consistent. Be consistent. So that's what I would say. Be consistent with your child. Give them grace. Give yourself grace. And don't be too legalistic. Don't be too rigid. You don't want to deter them from learning. The whole point of after schooling is to further enhance what they're learning in school, give them extra skills, give them challenges, and help them be successful in their school and be successful in life in general, because you're going to do all of this in fun, interactive, and a loving, loving way. Okay, love your children through the process. It's going to be hard for them. It's going to be challenging for you finding time to do all of this, but you can do it. Use my channel as inspiration. Use it for resources, and just be consistent. If you're consistent, you will find out that your child will learn a lot more. And they will be appreciative. They will love it. They may not show you every day that they do, but when they bring that A home or that B home, and they're like, Mom, look what I did. And it's because you taught me an easier way to do that. Or it's because you taught me how to do this and they didn't teach me at school, but it was extra credit. And because I knew how to do 3x3 multiplication, I got extra credit. Woo! And go celebrate by having ice cream or something. So I hope this video was of interest. I hope you found at least one thing useful. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, share. I know this video is pretty long, but I wanted to give you some step-by-step how-to for those parents who have children who are enrolled in school full-time or part-time and need to know where to start. Start after school. And until we meet again, I'll see you in another video. And as always, guys, make it a great day. Bye.